Hi guys, welcome to the reading session today. So we're going to be reading a book that's been again written for us by a student at university, which is really kind of them, and it's actually about Newcastle. So it's set in Newcastle, so that's fun as well. This book is called The Prince of Poland, and you can find it on the Nest reading session Google Drive. So we've got a Google Drive now, so you can click on that, and all the books that we've been reading so far will be in there, so you can look back at those ones. And it should also have been emailed out to you and on the Facebook page. So if you get the book out and have it alongside, so you can read along with us while we're talking. So it's called The Prince of Poland. And yeah, like I said, it should be on the Facebook page or on an email. Um, so there's 5 chapters in this book, so it's not too long, I don't think. So I think we'll finish it. So yeah, we'll read through it and I'll pick out some words that I think might be a bit difficult and check everyone understands. And then at the end, I've got a couple of questions just so we check that we've understood the whole story and what's happening. Um, so yeah, I'll start, I think. So, chapter 1. So, the first page, the title, The Prince of Poland, and chapter 1. So, we're on page 3, we're starting. Philip is a prince. He has a lot of money. He has a big house in Poland. He has lots of servants. Philip has a girlfriend. Her name is Anka. Anka is very pretty. She has long blonde hair. Philip loves Anka. He gets her a ring. Philip gets down on one knee. He asks Anka to marry him. No, I want a bigger ring than that, she shouts. Philip is upset. He loves Anka very much. He gets her a bigger ring. He decides to ask her again. Philip gets home. He hears Anka in the bedroom. He wants to surprise her. Philip drops the ring. He cannot believe it. Anka is stealing from him. Philip is angry. Philip tells Anka to get out. Philip is very upset. Philip has no luck with girls. They all only love him for his money. Philip comes up with a plan. He is sick of Poland. He is sick of having no one to love. I am going to England, says Philip. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1. So I'll just go back to the very first page, the third page, and we'll have a talk about what's happening here. So the very first page saying Philip is a prince. So as you probably know, a prince is a person in the royal family, so someone who will one day maybe be a king. So he has lots of money, he's very rich, and he lives in Poland, so that's in Europe, like Eastern Europe. So he's a prince in Poland and he has lots of servants. So servants are people in the house to help you. So a butler, a cook, a maid, something like that. So they're people to help you in your house. So he's got lots of people to help him. He's got lots of money. And we see from the picture that he stood in front of this big house. So that's all his. He's got lots of money. And he's got a girlfriend and she seems very nice. She's pretty. Her name's Anka and he loves her. And so he gets her a ring and he proposes. He wants to get married to Anka. But we learn about Anka that she doesn't like the ring that he's picked. She wants a bigger ring, and this might suggest that she only loves Philip for his money. So she loves him because he's a prince, not because he loves her. Um, and Philip is upset about this, so he gets her a bigger ring. She doesn't like the small ring, so he'll get her a bigger one. So he asks her again, and this is a hard word. So it says, he hears Anka in the bedroom. So he gets in and he hears her in the bedroom and he wants to surprise her. So when you surprise someone, you don't tell them what you're doing. So if you gave someone a present and you surprise them with a present, you don't tell them you're going to get them a present and then you give them it. So it's a surprise. So he wants to shock her. And then he walks into the bedroom and he drops the ring. So he lets it go, he drops it. And he cannot believe it. So if you can't believe something, he's shocked. Yeah, he didn't expect it. and it says Anka is stealing from him. So she was taking his things. She was going through his drawers and taking stuff out. And he's very angry. And he tells her to get out, and he's upset. So he's really sad. And yeah, like it says here, so they only has no luck with girls, so he doesn't get girlfriends. Girls don't like him because they only love him for his money. So people go out with him because he's a prince, not because they like Philip. And he's sick of it. So if we're sick of something, he doesn't want it anymore. He's sick of it. He's had too much of it. So he's done with being in Poland. He's finished with having no one to love, and he wants to do something about it. And so he decides he's going to go to England. Okay, so chapter 2. Will you be taking the jet? Asks Philip's head servant. No, says Philip. Philip does not want people in England to know he is rich. He puts on his cheapest clothes. Philip is renting a house in Newcastle. He does not know how to get there. There is no car to pick Philip up at the airport. Philip is scared. Philip gets off the metro. That was not so bad, Philip says. Philip finds his new house. He waits for a servant to let him in. Philip forgets he has to open the door himself in England. Philip is very tired. He sits down on the sofa. Philip misses his servants. Philip wants a bath. He is not sure how long it will take. He waits an hour. Philip goes to the bathroom. There is no water in the bath. He forgot to put the plug in. This is a hard life, he thinks. And that's the end of that chapter. So this is all about Philip's trip to England. So he's got there now, and he's experiencing a lot of changes. It's very different from Poland for him. So firstly, will you be taking the jet? So the jet, they mean a plane. So will he be taking his private plane? And his head servant asks him this, so the person in charge of his house. And Philip says no, he's not going to take the jet. He doesn't want people to know he's rich, so he puts on cheap clothes so they're not expensive. He doesn't stand out. And he gets very confused because he has to find his way to his house. And so he looks at them. I'm sure everyone's got the metro in Newcastle, so you can see the picture of the metro. And he's looking at the map, trying to work out where he's got to go. And he gets a bit scared because it's very different for Philip, and there's no car to pick him up, so he's having to get there himself, and no one's picking him up and driving him places. But he gets off the metro, and he said that wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as he thought it would be. He can do it on his own. So he gets to his new house, and he just stands outside the door, and he waits for a servant to let him in. Because that's what Philip's used to. He's used to having people in his house who will open doors for him and do anything he wants. So he forgets he has to open the door himself. So he lives a very different life. And then he misses his servants. So he can do it on his own, but it's very tiring and he's not used to it. And he misses them. He wishes he could see them. And this is quite a funny part of the book, I think. So he wants a bath, and he's not sure how long it'll take because he's never made himself a bath before. So he waits a whole hour. So you think the bath might be overflowed, but no, there's no water in the bath because he forgot to put the plug in. So the plug that stops all the water coming out, he forgot to put it in. So all the water's just gone out. And he thinks this is a hard life. He thinks it's very difficult living without all his servants. That's the end of that chapter. So, chapter 3. Philip wants to meet a girl. He does not know how to. Philip walks to the shop. He does not see any girls. Philip goes to the pub. He does not meet any girls. Philip walks to the post office. He does not see any girls. Philip decides to go to the supermarket. There will be lots of girls there. Philip is in the supermarket. Most of the girls Philip sees are married. Philip thinks he will never find a girlfriend. Philip is sad. Then Philip sees a pretty girl. She has no wedding ring on. He goes to speak to her. "Hello," says Philip. "Hello," says the girl. Philip does not know what to say next. "What is your favourite shampoo smell?" Philip says. The girl thinks Philip is odd. The girl walks away. Okay. So in this chapter, we see what Philip wants to do. So he was very sad when his girlfriend broke up with him, when he broke up with his girlfriend. She was stealing from him. So now we see Philip, he wants to meet another girl. He wants another girlfriend. So he doesn't know where to go. So he goes to some strange places, I think, to meet this girl. So he goes to the shop, to the newsagent, so where you'd buy a newspaper from. These aren't places where you'd normally meet people, so Philip doesn't quite know what he's doing. He goes to the pub, you could meet someone there, but he doesn't meet anyone. He goes to the post office, but he doesn't meet anyone there. But he decides to go to the supermarket. He wants to go to Tesco because he thinks there'll be a lot of girls there. And he does, he sees some girls, but most of the girls that he sees are married, so they've got wedding rings on. And you can see in this picture that there's a man and a woman, so they're married, and Philip can't be with that woman. He's very sad. And he thinks he'll never find a girlfriend because all these women are married. But then he sees a girl and she's very pretty and she doesn't have a wedding ring on, so she's single. And he thinks, yeah, I'll go talk to her. So he says hello to her, and we'd say Philip is a bit awkward, so he's not very good at talking. The conversation is slow, they don't know what to talk about, so he says some things that are a bit strange, a bit weird. And so he asks the girl, "What is your favourite shampoo smell?" So shampoo that you wash your hair with, he says, "What's your favourite smell from that?" And the girl thinks that he's a bit strange, so she walks away. And I'm sure Philip is not very happy about this. Okay, so chapter 4. Philip gets up early. He has a great idea. "I will join a dance class," Philip says. He will meet girls there. Philip goes to a salsa class. There are a lot of girls there. Philip smiles. Philip cannot dance. He steps on people's feet. They get very cross with him. Philip sees a girl. He likes her very much. The girl has nice eyes. Philip wants her to notice him. He dances the best he can. Philip is not very good. The girl looks round at Philip. He falls over. Philip's face goes red. The girl does not laugh. She helps Philip up. "Are you okay?" she says. "Yes, thanks," says Philip. Philip wants to talk to the girl. Philip is too shy. The girl walks over to him after the dance class. "My name is Emma. What is yours?" she says. "Philip," he says. "Nice to meet you, Philip," she says. "Would you like to go for a drink?" she asks. Philip is very happy. Okay, so things are looking up for Philip. Things are getting better for him. So we'll start at the beginning. I'll just go over it. So he's getting up early in the morning and he's got a really good idea. He thinks of something, he thinks this is a good idea. He's going to join a dance class. So he thinks there'll be lots of girls at the dance class. And it's a salsa class. So it's like Spanish dancing. It's very passionate, lots of romance, so it might be a good place to meet someone. And he was right, there are lots of girls there, and he's very happy, smiles. But the only problem is that Philip can't dance. So he's stepping on people's feet, so when they're dancing, he's treading on people, he's stepping on their toes and their feet, and they get cross with him, so they get angry with him, so they're not happy. But then Philip sees a girl and he really likes this girl. He thinks she's got really nice eyes and that she's very beautiful. And Philip wants her to notice him, so he wants her to look at him and see him. And so he tries dancing. He says he dances the best he can. So the best is he dances as well as he can. He does his best dance moves, but he's still not very good at dancing. And she might not notice him, she might not see him. But then the girl looks round at Philip, so she turns around. But Philip falls over, so he falls on the floor, he's tripped up, he's fallen on the floor while he's dancing, and his face goes very red, so he's really embarrassed. He's embarrassed himself in front of this girl. But the girl's very nice about it. She doesn't laugh, she just helps him up and she says, "Are you okay?" And then we hear that Philip wants to talk to the girl, but he's very shy. So if someone's shy, they're a bit quiet, they're a bit nervous, they don't want to talk to people. So he's a bit scared to talk to this girl. But after the dance class, the girl comes over to him and she asks what his name is. And she actually asks him that would he like to go for a drink. And he's very happy about this. Okay, so chapter 5, and this is the last chapter. Philip and Emma get on well. They go on lots of dates. They are in love. Philip decides to tell Emma that he is a prince. Emma laughs. She does not believe him. Philip wants to show Emma his house in Poland. They fly to Poland. They go to Philip's house. Emma's mouth drops open. Philip really is a prince. "I would love you even if you had nothing," says Emma. Philip is very happy. He loves Emma. "Will you marry me, Emma?" "Yes," she says. They both live happily ever after. And that's the end. So we'll just go over that chapter and then I've got some questions for us as well. Okay, so Philip and Emma get on well. So they like each other a lot. They're talking, it's very easy for them to talk to each other. They have a lot of fun, so they like each other. And they go on a lot of dates. So they go out and do things together. Maybe they go to the cinema or they go on walks and they're in love. And so Philip has been keeping it a secret that he's a prince. So no one knows he's a prince. But he trusts Emma. So he tells her, he says, "I'm a prince." And Emma is laughing. She doesn't believe him. She thinks it can't be true. He can't be a prince. But Philip wants to show him. So Philip wants to show her even. So they fly to Poland. They get on a plane from England to Poland. And Philip shows Emma his house. And her mouth drops open. So you can see her picture. She's like this. Because she's so shocked. She doesn't believe it. She's really surprised that he really is a prince. But Emma is a lovely person and she says, "I would love you even if you had nothing." So Emma loves Philip for him. Yeah, she likes his personality. She thinks he's funny, thinks he's kind, and she doesn't love him just for his money. And Philip's very happy. And so he says to Emma, "Will you marry me?" And she says yes. And the last line in this book is something, so if you heard of fairy tales, so they're like old stories of dragons and princes and princesses. So like in history these were written, and the last line in all of those is always they live happily ever after. So they live happily ever after, or after that point they always lived happily. So it's like a fairy tale and it all works out in the end and everyone's happy. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions to answer about the book. So if you can have a look back at the book while you're doing it. So what I'll do is I'll go through all of them and I'll go through all the answers after. So I've got them about the different chapters. So I started at chapter 1 working all the way through. Okay, so number 1, why does Philip have a lot of money? So I think this is right at the beginning of the book. We're told that Philip's very rich. So why is he very rich? And number two, what does Anchor do to Philip? So Anchor and Philip, they end up breaking up. And why do they break up? And at the end of chapter one, Philip says he's sick of being in Poland. And what does he decide to do instead? And the next one, this is in chapter two, and this is when Philip is in England, so he has to do a lot of new things in England. So, can you name some of the new things that Philip has to do that are a bit different for him? And the next one, this is chapter three. So, Philip, when he's in England, he's got one thing that he really wants to do. What is that? And he goes to some unusual places to do this. So, could you name some of the places that he goes to as well? And in chapter four, uh, Philip meets Emma. So, how do they meet? Where do they meet? And how does it happen? How do they meet? And the very last question, why does Philip love Emma so much? So, what's special about Emma that Philip really loves? Okay, so I'll go through the answers. So, the first question, why does Philip have a lot of money? So, why is he so rich? And the answer is that he's a prince, so he's in the royal family, and so that's why he has a big house and lots of money. And the next one, what does Anchor do to Philip? So, why do they break up? So, well, she does a few things. So, first, he proposes to her, and she says that she wants a bigger ring. But I think the main thing is that she's stealing from him, so she's taking his things out of his room. And then Philip breaks up with her, says, "Get out." Um, and at the end of that chapter, so Philip, it says, he's sick of Poland, he's sick of not anyone loving him, and he decides that he's going to move to England, so he's going to get away from everyone. Okay. From chapter two, what new things does Philip have to do in England? So, a couple of things I found was he has to open doors for himself, so there's no servants to open his doors. He has to run a bath for himself, and as well, I think he has to get back home himself. So there's no one to drive him home from the airport. He has to do it himself. He has to get on the metro. So well done if you've got any of those. So from chapter three now. So Philip goes to England and he wants to do something. What is it that he wants to do? And I put that he wants to meet girls. That's what he wants to do. And I asked if you could name a couple of places that he does this. So he goes to quite a few places. He goes to the shop, to the newsagents. He goes to the pub, which could be a good idea. He goes to the post office, but I don't think that's too much of a good idea. And then he goes to the supermarket. So he goes to quite a few different places, but he's not very successful. Um, so question chapter four even. Where does Philip meet Emma, and how do they meet? How does this happen? So Philip and Emma meet at the dance class, at the salsa class, And if you remember, Philip's trying to impress her, he's doing his best dance moves, but then he falls over. And so they actually meet because Philip falls over and Emma helps him up, and she's very kind to him. And in the final chapter, why does Philip love Emma so much? And I put that she doesn't care that he's a prince, so she loves him even though he's a prince. She loves him. She would love him even if he didn't have any money and if he wasn't a prince. So they've got a very true love, so it's very nice. And yeah, so we finished that one today, guys. So that was quite quick, I think. But I hope you enjoyed that book. And I think it's nice that it's set in Newcastle, so we can all maybe recognise some places in the pictures as well. Um, so yeah, like I said, we've got the Google Drive now. So if you do want to find any of the books from the previous weeks, you can find them all on there. They're all in one place, so you can read them yourself again. Um, and yeah, and we'll see you next week for another reading session. Thanks, guys.